Hello, this is Jared. This is my second lesson for Ed 633. This one will be on fluency. It's a third grade class. No students are present at the time of this filming. It'll be a combination of an overview of a week-long lesson and then with an example of some instruction, but the majority will be an overview. The students will be put into groups of 5. They'll be assigned a group before they come into class. It's already been predetermined. They will be reading in their groups a Dr. Seuss book. There's been 5 books that have been chosen, and like I said, already predetermined what they'll be reading and the parts that they will read. Those books are Fox and Socks, Green Eggs and Ham, Yertle the Turtle, The Lorax, and The Cat in the Hat. Now, the materials that will be needed for this lesson are printed out copies of the stories. Some background information for teachers. You, as a teacher, would need to read each of the stories completely beforehand, before this assignment starts, so you can assign groups and you can assign parts within those groups. Okay, so you'd want to be able to assign parts according to ability, maybe gender roles, and then dramatic tendencies of the students that you have. So you wouldn't want to give a low ability reader too much to read where they would become frustrated and not enjoy it. Maybe someone who is struggles at reading and it isn't much fun for them, give them some of the more dramatic parts. It could make that a little more enjoyable for them. When the groups are made, they need to be mixed so that there is an equal level of ability in each group. So that kind of means that at least one fluent reader has to be in each group. All right. As far as the students, what they need for their background information is they need to have had some type of experience listening and participating in read-along activities. For the instructional procedures, which we're going to get to here in a second, is I'm going to start out by telling them the assignment, what's going on, and then I'm going to read them an example of kind of what we're looking for and what we're not looking for. I'm going to read an example of how the Grinch Stole Christmas. I'm going to read it in a monotone voice with no inflection, no pauses, and then read it how I want them to read it while they're performing their play.
Sorry, Sue, Jean, and David Adrian, please come to the main office. Sue, Jean,
Okay,
David
and I
Adrian,
will
please
start
come
that
to the
now.
main office.
Good morning, guys. We're going to do an assignment today. We're going to start it. It's going to take all week. And what we're going to do is you're going to get a story, a Dr. Seuss story, and you're going to work in groups. And your groups have already been determined for you. It's determined by the star and the circle that are on your desk, depending on what color it is. That's the group that you're going to be in, and you're going to be assigned a book. Once you get your book, you're going to have a star that's on your desk that's a certain color, and that is going to be the part that you read within your group. And what you're going to be responsible for is being able to fluently read everything that your part's responsible for in front of the class. You're going to put it on as a play. Okay? So I'm going to give you guys an example of kind of what I'm not looking for and what I am looking for. Now, This is a passage from the same author that you guys are going to be doing your story for. It's a Dr. Seuss book. It's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. This first time, I'm going to read it as if the incorrect way. So no pauses, no inflections in my voice. It's going to be kind of monotone. It's going to be kind of boring. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to get excited. Okay, and then we're going to look at the differences when I do it kind of the way that I think that the author wanted it read if it was to be done in a play. Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot, but the Grinch who lived just north of Whoville did not. The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight. But I think the most likely reason of all may have been his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood on their Christmas Eve hating the Who's, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown, the warm light windows below in their town, for he knew who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath. Okay, so that's an example of what we're not looking for. I didn't pause anywhere where I was supposed to. I didn't get excited. I didn't emphasize any words. That's what I want you to do when you're reading the story. So you're going to pay attention to exclamation marks. You're going to pay attention to commas and periods. You're going to pay attention to words that are in italics. You're going to stress those a little more. So we'll try it this way, and then we'll get you started on the assignment. Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot, but the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now please, don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be, perhaps, that his shoes were too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Who's, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm, lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now, hanging a mistletoe wreath. Okay, so you kind of see, or you can hear the difference of pausing, of trying to use the exclamation marks that the author is trying to get across when there's a change in emotion, when they're excited or mad, or okay. So I'm going to hand out your guys' papers, your stories. Like I said, you'll get into groups based off of the colors that are at your desks. So if you have a circle that's a certain color, okay, you're going to get with that group. Okay, so blues will be over here, the greens will be in the back, the reds will be over there, yellows, and then oranges. Okay, and then based off of the star color that you have, that's going to be your part with inside that group. Okay, so I'll hand those out, and then you guys can get started practicing your reading. And I will be coming around, answering any questions, helping with words you don't know how to pronounce. Okay, seeing how it's sounding, what you're doing, how it's going. Okay, so during this time, I'd be walking around, I'd be helping the students as they needed it. Just do this for about 20, 25 minutes or however much time you have for the day for that class, and then move on till the next day. You know, and you can take this assignment as far as you want. If you want to just focus on the reading, you can do that and perform it in front of the class. You could get to a point where you are making props. The students can make props. They can get into a point where they're sharing it with other classes if you get some permission from other teachers, or you could even do it as an activity where the parents would want to come in and maybe watch it. Okay, that's it.